Taylor. Juwan just has some issues with his knee soreness, so we're going to hold him from practice today. McCole will practice. He is activated into the 21-day window. Look forward to the challenge of playing the Broncos. Carson is going to visit with you here in a little bit, but he'll end up being the starting quarterback, and then we'll kind of work things from there on who goes and who doesn't go. I mean, you remember last year how the offensive line played and rotated in and out. So those type of things could potentially take place in this one, depending on the positions. But anyways, the Denver Broncos are a heck of a football team, bidding for obviously a playoff spot. Sean's done a real nice job up there with that team, and as his coordinators have. So we've got to have a good week of practice here, starting today, and then again moving forward throughout the week. Anyways, with that, time's yours.
Any difficult decision at all what to do in this situation about Pat and some of the other guys? Kelsey, all those other guys?
Yeah, I haven't finalized that part of it, but it wasn't a hard decision, no.
What went into it, given that you don't have those guys won't be playing in the game for another 3.5 weeks?
Yeah, I've been through that before, so I'm not too worried about all of that. I mean, just gives the other guys an opportunity here to grow, and well, you can use everybody.
Andy, obviously you guys put a premium on the turnover aspect of the game all the time. How do you account for the last, I guess, 6 games with no turnovers on offense? What's the difference?
Yeah, Nags has made a big point of emphasis on that, and making sure that the guys are keeping the ball high and tight, eliminating tip balls, which could be a problem. Pat's done a great job with the football, and so that's helped us in that area. We can still get better at it as we go here, so we've got to keep rolling with that and keep making that a point of emphasis, as we go forward.
So something's changed with it, but is it also a reflection of stuff you guys do in an ongoing way? I mean, it just seems like it's such a radical difference.
Yeah, I mean, not as much scheme-wise, no. Just I think the guys are just doing a better job with it, and coaches are working it. You always see Porter out there with that strap pulling on everybody, and everybody kind of gets a shot at it, all the skill guys. So, that's helped.
You mentioned before that obviously you have a lot of respect and trust for Carson, but getting the week now to sort of see him all the way through, what excites you the most? What makes you eager about seeing him in the offense, given he's had a full year to understand it and sort of mold it to his skill set?
Yeah. Well, I think, first of all, I have a lot of respect for him. I think he's a good football player. I think he's got a good feel for this offense. Whether he's developed it or had some of the stuff prior to coming here, he's got a good feel. And then he deserves an opportunity to get in there and play. And at the same time, it gives Pat time to work on certain things that he'll do during the practices.
How have you seen the other Carson Steele, develop throughout the season?
Yeah, Carson's done a nice job. We've asked him to play fullback and special teams, so 2 of the things that he didn't do. And he's really developed into a pretty good fullback in there. At the same time, he can carry the ball. We know that. He started the season off as our running back and toting the load there in a couple of those games. So that's a plus to have.
Andy, what kind of conversations are had or consideration given to players who have contract incentives or career milestones going into a
Yeah, sure, I look at those, yeah. Like we did with Chris last year. Yeah. Sure, we look at all that, for sure. Yeah, we want the guys to be able to reach them if it's reachable, so, yeah.
Andy, what is it that you seek to accomplish as a coaching staff over these next couple of weeks?
Say that one more time.
What is it that, how do you guys operate as a coaching staff over the next couple of weeks? What do you seek to accomplish?
Yeah, well, primary thing is to make sure that we stay sharp at all areas through this game and, for the upcoming weeks that we have to prep for that first game there. So you want to stay sharp mentally and physically, and then that's our responsibility to do that. And how we manage the time, I make sure I do that practice-wise. And then the guys go out and players and coaches and work on that, keeping themselves in the right timing the right way. Yeah.
Does the speed of practice change at all, given that you mentioned that the speed of the games increases as you get into the
Yeah.
playoffs?
Yeah, it does a little bit, yes. Yeah, I mean, you'd see that more excuse me, next week, yeah.
And then just real quick on DJ Humphries, do you envision him playing left tackle on Sunday?
Yeah, there's a chance, he's feeling, I just want to see how he does here, but in practice, give me one more go around with him here and see how he's holding up. But he says he feels good, and we'll just see how the practices go.
What about McCoy? You expect him to play Sunday, or?
Yeah, I wouldn't count on McColl playing. Yeah.
We'll go last year. Matt, Nick, and then Nate. Go ahead, Matt.
Coach, with Chris and that calf injury, how much of this was maybe he would be going this week if it was a game that you needed?
Yeah, he's recovering from that. I wouldn't say either way on that, whether he play or not play, but I would tell you that, he's recovering from the calf injury. So that's the primary thing. The guys that are banged up, we're trying to get back where they feel okay.
Andy, I know you guys are focused on Denver, but are there any coaches on staff you feel warrant potential interviews for head coaching jobs in the coming weeks?
Yeah, I mean, you could take all of the coordinators there and put them right in that mix, for sure. I mean, both of them are the offensive and defensive guys are phenomenal. Tobe does a great job. I know the two names that normally come up are the offensive and defensive coordinator. So, but both of those two are warrant that, yeah, for sure.
Nate?
Hey, there's been some speculation from analysts that maybe you could treat Sunday's game similar to a preseason game where you would say have Hollywood Brown or DeAndre Hopkins play a certain amount of time and then obviously sit them in the second half. Given your experience, is that feasible? Is that something that you could even consider given how small roster manipulation you can do in Week 18?
Yeah, well, you get two elevations. That's all. So it's hard to do all of that. I mean, the rosters are small now, where you got to play guys, and that's how it goes. I mean, if somebody wants to start messing with it, then there's not a whole lot of messing going on. So I'm sure that's for a reason. So guys play. That's how it goes.
Good. Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Carson.
Probably say a lot on this, but just generally speaking, for the whole season, what do you think you've learned as a pro so far? Having a limited role, but also behind the scenes.
For sure. Every game's a tough game. That's kind of what I've learned, especially playing with these dudes, going in and out of the one-possession games, stuff like that over, the course of so many weeks. So it's been a really cool experience to kind of see how that crunch time works and, how so efficient a team could be, to possibly try to get out and get that victory.
What can you take away from a guy like Kareem, just kind of seeing how he operated this year?
Yeah, just watching him, he's an 8-year guy, 9-year guy, just being able to watch him and kind of follow in his footsteps, not even like in the running back role, like blocking, catching out of the backfield, stuff like that. It's really helped me like improve my game too as well, especially learn like different types of like blocking techniques too from him.
Carson, what have they told you about a goal? I know how much you're going to play on Sunday.
Yeah, there's no doubt that, I'm going to get a little bit extra, specific type of roles, but nothing's been really, kind of wired down to who's getting what, between all the running backs and even any other players, stuff like that. So it's kind of a day-by-day thing, kind of figure it out from there.
Carson, you guys have gone, I guess, 6 games now without a turnover, and I wonder what you've seen in the change in emphasis, and also what you've learned about protecting the ball this year, and how that's been done.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously I had a few mistakes at the beginning of the year. It's something I've learned from too, after practice every day, trying to work on little fundamental stuff like that too, especially learning from the older guys, protecting it in traffic, stuff like that. Just the little techniques to really, like you were saying, prevent anything like that.
Do you feel like team-wise there's been even a change in emphasis, like a broader change in emphasis that's kind of helped this along for everybody in the last month?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely do. Guys are real, more antsy about it, stuff like that. Especially the last couple teams we played, they're real big. The Steelers were really big, and knocking the ball out, stuff like that. So we try to learn about it, learn from our mistakes, and keep going from week in, week out.
Anything else?
In some of those videos after the Christmas game, it just looked like you guys were really having a bunch of fun. How would you kind of assess like the camaraderie from day one to now? How has that kind of grown with the team?
Yeah, that's a big thing that I've always kind of, even being here for 1 year, whether it's week 1 or week 16, everybody's acts like it's week 1, and everybody's so excited, especially being Christmas. Obviously you're away from your family, but you get to be on the biggest stage, on that day. Everybody in town's watching you, so it's just really cool to see those guys, how they interact, especially the guys, coming in their 8th, 9th year, acting like it's their rookie year, their first game start. So it's really cool to kind of feed off their energy.
Last one, Nate.
Carson, is it correct that you spent time during practice this year alongside Carson Wentz, and just what's it been like sort of building that rapport, that relationship with him, knowing that that's going to be what you guys put out there on Sunday?
For sure. Just like you were saying, I got to train with him in team camp, stuff like that, especially, taking the second team reps, stuff like that. Carson's an elite QB, and a lot of people take that for granted, especially around here. And, it's really cool to see him and how he performs, especially being a veteran like himself. So very excited to see, what goes on and how it goes out throughout the game.
Anything else? Thanks, Carson.
Thank you, guys. Good. Take care.
How's it going, guys? Happy New Year.
Thank you. Carson, what are your expectations for yourself on Sunday?
Have fun, and obviously I want to play well and have success out there, and ultimately, more than anything, get a win. That's the goal. Obviously, we know the circumstances. We know kind of where we're at and the reason I'm playing, not Pat, and all the things. But I still go out there and expect to win. I'm going to prepare to go out there and win, and then have a good performance with this offense, and yeah, we're preparing for that.
We talked during camp how this is a different role this year for you
Yep.
than what you've been used to. How has that been trying to stay sharp? And do you feel like you've done a good job at that?
Yeah, it's always been different, but I've stayed locked in, stayed ready, prepared every week. Really kind of had the same routine since I've been in the NFL. Taking some things from Pat and kind of working with him, but at the same time, every week I'm staying locked in, ready to go, and just obviously not getting the reps, but going against our defense, with our scout offense, definitely does help me stay sharp, help all the guys stay sharp, because our defense is no slouch over there either. So we've stayed locked in, stayed sharp, and it should be a fun one.
Carson, was your experience in Philadelphia when you got hurt in 2017 make you cognizant of how this can turn and how ready you have to be in the other role?
For sure. Yeah, no, it's especially Pat at times, he's taking some big ones, and there's been a couple this year that I'm like, is this it? And so, without a doubt, you got to be ready to go and be on your toes and stay locked in with the game plan and all those things. And so, it's been different for sure, but I control what I can control and stay ready.
And in that respect, you feel like obviously this is one thing to play this Sunday, but how much will this help you be ready if you're needed in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think it would be tremendous. Just getting reps. Obviously preseason, is helpful, but that was even limited, and seems like another lifetime ago already. Things just kind of the way it goes. But this will definitely be helpful if needed in whatever capacity down the stretch there in the playoffs. But quite frankly, I'm just excited to get out there and play ball.
Earlier this week, Andy complimented you, and he essentially said you should be a starter in this league. Just mindset-wise, where are you in terms of that?
Yeah, I take it day by day. I'm confident in myself. I'm confident in my abilities, and what I've done in the past is in the past. With good, bad, and different. I'm so confident I can play at a high level, and so I'm looking forward to hopefully doing that this weekend and having fun while I'm at it.
Given you've had the full year to learn the offense, see how Andy thinks about things. He's mentioned you and Pat have obviously similar skill sets. Do you feel like there's something you're going to show on Sunday that you haven't shown before in this league, given where you are in your career, given the style of offense you will be operating?
It's a good question. It's kind of like, we'll see, I guess. I don't know. I'm still the same guy. I still play, but every offense does have its own nuances and kind of play styles, and, some move the pocket more and some do this more. And so, I've been in a couple different ones now, and so I'm excited to have Coach Reid calling it for me and kind of see what that's all about. And, we'll see, I guess, so to speak. But it does feel a lot of similarities to what I did, first coming into the league with Coach Peterson, and obviously it's evolved over the years from there. But it does feel like it fits my play style, and I'm excited for it.
We'll go to the back and then to Vahe.
Just as a competitor, what's it going to mean to you to kind of be able to get back on the field and just be out there in the live action?
Yeah, I'm excited, honestly. I might not show it right now, but I think I think last year and then this year again, just you learn to not take these opportunities for granted. You play and start for however many years it was for me, and then you go and sit on the couch for half the season, and then you kind of go back up last year, and I got one shot last year, and so for me it's just not taking these chances for granted and having fun with it. It's just not taking it for granted and having fun and cutting it loose.
Vahe.
Carson, as I understand it anyway, typically Patrick has a lot of feedback with Andy and Matt about what he likes in the game plan going into the game. Is that, I assume that's a conversation you've already had or starting to have with them, and you'll get to state your preferences in some ways?
For sure, yeah. No, I think that's already begun, and I've seen it, with Pat doing it throughout the year, and so obviously when that comes time late in the week, once we've got the game plan and all the pieces put together, just kind of how we want to call it, how Coach wants to call it, how he's seeing it, how I'm seeing it. I think that's a really cool thing that he does here, and kind of really takes our opinions into play and lets us play fast.
Without asking you to give away anything, do you expect that's a pretty similar track to what Patrick states, or is it?
We'll see. We'll see. Honestly, it's early in the game plan still. It's first practice here, but I think Pat and I definitely like a lot of similar things, different preferences in certain moments and certain things. But I think it'll be some similarities for sure.
Last one, Nate.
Carson, I believe you were in the league when this happened, but are you aware of what happened in, I guess, the regular season finale with Andy Dalton getting the Bills into the playoffs? Their fans essentially creating a lot of charitable donations to Andy's foundation at the time. Yeah. Are you aware that you have, I guess, a role?
Yeah.
You might have some influence with maybe Colts fans with Dolphins fans in that regard, and you got a charity set up in case things go a certain way?
Well, I've had a charity for about 10 years, so anybody can go donate it to whenever they want to. We'll see what happens. But I wasn't sure where you were going with that question right away. But yes, I do recall that. That was funny to see. But without a doubt, we have the A1 Foundation. Thanks for that free plug. So,
Thanks, Carson.
thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot, Carson.
Good luck.
Felix, we talked a lot about the 3 games in 11 days. Now you're on the other side of that. I'm just wondering how you came through that physically and how stressful that was, that stretch.
Just our coaches always remind us to take care of our bodies, just to make sure that we are in top shape to play those 3 games. So basically, we had to just focus on what we can control the whole time and pull through.
Take us through your sack at Pittsburgh.
What I did was play action pass. I try to power him and then snatch him down and burn the edge, and then I came up with a sack.
What do you think about training camp coming into this year, and now you have to have the whole season? How have you felt like you've grown your game, Joe Cullen, this year?
Just more mentally, just seeing the game through, seeing more like what I'm getting on a daily basis with other teams and stuff like that, and I'm excited to learn even more from this year to next year.
Anybody else? Thanks, Felix.
Thanks, Rick.